Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here with the Raptors Digest, and I had to make another video, drop another one tonight because I have been sent this image on multiple occasions. You know, people, obviously we made 2 videos on Ben Simmons now the past couple days, or this throughout this week. We've been trying to keep you guys up to date on all the latest news, the reports. You know, we had those stuff dropping from Shams earlier in the week, and then Chris Broussard saying that Ben Simmons would like to go to either the Raptors or the Timberwolves over the 70s, or staying with the 76ers at this point. So we dropped those 2 videos. If you want the legit Ben Simmons news, or at least from the official reporters, right, go check out those videos, because we've been sent, this video is not breaking down those news. We are being sent this ludicrous trade rumor, and you know, apparently, I'll just break into it, because this image on its own, it's not its own thing, but people that know, it comes from the NBA Trending Instagram page. They usually they aggregate a bunch of sort of reports, news, usually from pretty liberal sources, and not to say that everything we've done is from Woj and Shams, but, you know, they take things from a multitude of sources, and the caption on this photo is the Toronto Raptors made an offer for Ben Simmons, and the package is surrounded around Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. per sources, right? So they don't even name the person where they're getting this information from, and this is absurd. And I'm getting sent this a bunch because Raptors fans are clearly frustrated, as many would be, because obviously we've talked about potential packages, and Trent and Boucher was the line that Riker and I were willing to go, right? That was the saying, okay, if we think we can surround Ben Simmons with shooters, play him as a big man, things go perfectly right. He's still a 25-year-old multi-time all-star. But adding Fred into this mix alongside of Gary Trent Jr., 2 extremely valuable assets. Gary Trent Jr., who's still super young. Fred VanVleet, a guy with a finals MVP vote. This is absurdity. This is just, I don't even know why this is tangible. I know we made some memes joking in the last video about potential packages that people have thrown out there for the young socialite. However, this one's saying that the Raptors offered this, and saying that this is what the talks are around, and the Raptors are trying to convince the Sixers to accept this package. Get out of here with this. Get out of here with this. Fred VanVleet is an extremely valuable piece to this team, and especially with the fact that we drafted Scotty Barnes, we didn't draft a Jalen Suggs. It makes 0 sense to get rid of Fred VanVleet. This is his first year as the true point guard to take mantle, and you know, we had Kyle Lowry running the show truly for the past since he's joined the team, and we got rid of Jose Calderon, right? Lowry's been that guy, and Fred VanVleet, he's been playing off the ball, he's been able to lead bench units, but this is his first season being in full control as the leader of this team, even if he's not the necessarily number 1 option, which it still probably is likely to be Siakam or OG Anunoby if he takes a major leap. However, Fred VanVleet is that integral to this current makeup of this roster, and giving him straight up for Ben Simmons would be a lot. Riker and I said we especially wouldn't do that now after not getting a Jalen Suggs, not getting a true point guard that can really just take the reins of it. I know Malachi Flynn, he's young, he has potential, he has all of these sorts of things, but it's not what it is. You don't want Ben Simmons running your point. We saw what happened with him in the playoffs this previous season. He couldn't even dunk on top of Trae Young. So get out of here with this wildness, this buffoonery, this chicanery. We are not trading Fred VanVleet. That doesn't really make sense. And then adding Gary Trent Jr. on top of it, why? Why would the Raptors do this? Gary Trent Jr. on his own should be enough of a piece to sort of, the way Ben Simmons' value is sort of placed right now. I know neither of those guys have been all-stars, and you know, I played 2K for the first time in forever the other day, and I see the ratings of those 2 guys are just completely abysmal. So I see why the rest of the league, people that don't watch this team, they'd be willing to sort of make this trade, but Ben Simmons is not that valuable of an asset to the point where we have to give up our main guy, our true leader, the guy that's really been given the reins to this roster alongside a really terrific young prospect. Get out of here with all that stuff. You know, we were sort of reaching. We said the max was Trent and Boucher, and now adding Fred into that mix, and you know, package surrounding those guys. I don't know. That's my stance on it. That's my cold hard, true from the heart stance on it. Now, if this is legitimate, which I don't think it is. I think this is just the NBA trending, trying to get clicks, trying to get people like me to react to wild stuff, wild takes such as this. But if this is true, I got the young socialite in the background, and we acquire Ben Simmons for Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., that means Ben Simmons will be our point guard. That's just how it is. He's going to be starting at point guard, and that's what the Toronto Raptors do. Now, I did ponder this a little bit before I went on recording this video, and I said, okay, the defense on this squad could be nice. Ben Simmons at the point, Scotty Barnes, I assume, would now be the starting 2 guard in this situation, OG Anunoby at the 3. That is the most suffocating defensive presence in terms of a backcourt. Then you have Precious Achiuwa at the 5 and Siakam at the 4. Everyone can switch. Everyone can play around the ring. It's fast. It's remarkable. Defensively, sure. Masai Ujiri wants to only look at that side of the basketball court. Then, yeah, that's great. Defensively, this improves this roster. But everything else, it does not. Because you are getting rid of 2 of our most consistent shooters in our starting lineup, in Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. Are 2 guys that can actually create shots for themselves. Probably the only 2 guys on the roster that can do that. Siakam can kind of do it in the paint, but as we've come to learn, him trying to do those dribble pull-up threes, he could do it for a stretch pre-bubble, but that's not someone that you want to rely upon right now. We are giving up 2 of our only shot creators on this team. And yes, Ben Simmons is a good passer and stuff and could probably create better than Trent and Fred just for other people. However, if you can't shoot and the team is sagging off you to such a degree, especially when the playoffs come around, that playmaking is rendered useless unless you're running the fast break. But that's such rare circumstances, especially in the playoffs. Ben Simmons was a complete negative asset there in that season. You need to build a roster constructed perfectly around him in order for it to make sense. And then we've made the argument you can't even play him at the point guard for him to be valuable. So it doesn't make any sense. There's not that value there. And then for all the defense that I just mentioned, this roster would sort of have with a lineup of Simmons, Barnes, OG Anunoby, Siakam, and Precious. You might look at that and say, "Ooh, that's spicy. That's great. That's cool and all that." But then we have to think about the offensive side of things, because very well that team could probably keep some of the worst rosters in the NBA under 60 points in a game, because that's suffocating. I'm not going to deny that for all the people that might be interested in this trade. However, where's the scoring going to come? We could keep the other team under 60, but if we have a lineup of Simmons, Barnes is only 28% three-point shooter in college. Precious Achiuwa, who has shown promise. These guys have promise from the three-point line, but they're certainly not reliable just yet. Those are 3 non-shooters that are out there on the court. And then, obviously, I've been preaching on this podcast that I think Siakam's three-point shot will return to form this season, hopefully. But he is coming off a shoulder injury, and he did only shoot 30% from the three-point line last year. So, really, you're leaving OG Anunoby, who I know the ball handling workouts, they've been happening. I've been in the corner of this video. I'm that flustered about this trade. But OG Anunoby, a guy who really hasn't shown an ability to create at least his own jump shots at this point. Sometimes he can bully his way to the rim. I know he's been working on those handles, but that's not any three-point shooting or shot creation in those lineups. So, I don't know. We've talked about it this entire season, right? We've talked about the side of things where, okay, right, we're going to that direction of 6'9", all long, wiry guys that can play defense, young, athletic, all these sorts of things. But is there a point where it's too much? Is there a point where we have to just say, okay, we need some shot creators, some guys that can get us some buckets, right? Can we draw a line somewhere? And I think the line is way beyond giving up Trent and Fred VanVleet to acquire a Ben Simmons. I get the buy low aspect. I get that, we've been some of the more positive, or people that have been more positively inclined to pick up a Ben Simmons, I feel like, in Raptors world right now, but this is gone too far. And I'm hoping I'm reacting to this like it's official news. I'm hoping it's some fake news, it's some drama that's been beefed up, but enough people sent it to me to where I said, okay, I gotta at least give my take on it and give my points, and I guess it's an entertaining enough topic, but this has to be a joke. This has to be, honestly, I'm going to title this video, "This Has to Be a Joke," because that's just disgusting. It's disgraceful. But let me know what you guys think. Am I being silly? Am I being a Raptors homer? If you're a Philadelphia fan, let me know if you guys think that's unfair for Ben Simmons. And and the one reason I want to also elaborate on this too, because we've seen the worst trade proposals for the Toronto Raptors players in the past. We've seen Siakam being given up for pennies on the dollar, right? We've seen everything, right? Whoever we have on the roster, people are, oh, we can pluck him away for nothing. People are saying, and then when we sort of get some value back, people just underrate our players. And fair enough, right? The Raptors probably aren't the most League Pass watched team. We're not the Lakers. We're not the Heat. We're not this. We're not that. But people are saying, random casuals of Raptors fandom are saying, this is a steal for the Sixers. Do this. The Sixers have to accept this immediately. So, we're getting fleeced when the casuals are saying we're getting fleeced. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this potential trade in the comment section below. Should the Raptors go through with this? Would you want to see that monstrous defensive lineup without any bit of three-point shooting? Let me know in the comment section below. You guys are the best to make this far. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.